And we're back with Norm Macdonald and Rob Ford.
Rob Ford. Another tweet I put out that got incredible backlash. Can't say anything nice about anybody.
Can't say anything nice about the crack-smoking mayor or a convicted murderer. Yeah.
Well, you can't equate those two, you know, because we've all made mistakes with different substances through our lives and whatever.
Sure.
And I like Rob Ford. I actually wonder. I wonder if you think of this, Schneider. Rob Ford. I wonder if he is doing Chris Farley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We are, of course, talking to our producer, our executive
the
producer
great
here.
John Schneider.
John Schneider, Rob's brother, who you've
Rob
worked,
Schneider's brother.
You've worked with.
Or I call Rob John Schneider's brother.
Yes.
So however you look at it.
You've worked with Rob Schneider on many Rob Schneider movies. Were those fun, the Rob Schneider movies?
John as well.
Yeah.
I've worked, oh yes, they've actually been my favorite movies. I love Sandler, but Rob has always given me such leeway in movies to do what I want. And my favorite one, I think, was The Animal, where I was in the mob, and he just let me keep talking. And Deuce Bigalow 2, European Gigolo, where he had me play an old coal mining gigolo.
Do you think Rob Ford is purposely putting on the Chris Farley, mayor of Toronto?
Well, because he has the moves down so down pat, you know, that it almost looks like.
It almost can't be real.
Physically, it looks like an impression. Yeah. But no, listen, I don't know anything about local Toronto politics anymore. You know, I used to know about him. No.
Now, I find that surprising because I've heard you say that you don't follow politics, and people are often surprised that you don't follow politics, given that you were the host of Weekend Update.
Yes, they are, yeah. But I feel like politics are just gossip, really, and you know, it's pretty easy to tell who to vote for usually. And also, I think because we come from Canada, you know, I don't know if people know the parliamentary system, but here everything's so important. Like if you vote for the wrong guy, a war might happen. Yeah. You're in Canada, it's like, what's the big, you know,
the cost
issue?
Of maple syrup might go up.
Cost of maple syrup might go up, yeah. And then we have this thing, I don't know if Americans are going to understand this, but you don't vote for the prime minister, you vote for a guy in your riding.
Yeah.
So you vote for this guy, and he goes out and he goes, we're going to fix that bridge that in Vanier, you know, and you go, I'll vote for this motherfucker because that bridge is shit.
Yeah.
And so you vote for him, and then he gets in the House of Parliament, and then he gets up and goes, hey, what about that bridge? And they go, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, I'll sit down.
But your brother is one of the big political
yes, he knows
correspondents of Canada.
Yes, he is.
Neil Macdonald.
Yes, and as you know, CBC and BBC both are very serious journalistic. It's not like here.
Yeah.
It's gotten ridiculous in America, where it's just people yelling at each other. But in Canada, they really are, you know, serious journalists.
Yeah, and your brother, one of the most respected journalists in Canada.
Yeah.
And you parody the news. Have you ever thought about how that happened, or why you chose to go these two very distinct, separate ways, but still working in entertainment business? You know.
Well, do you consider the news entertainment? I guess it is
like
now.
Maybe these days. Yeah.
Less so in America. Less so in Canada, though.
Yeah.
Maybe, and I haven't watched Canadian news in a while.
I guess I meant the television business.
Yes. That would be a good question for Dan Rather.
Dan Rather's on the show next week. Yeah, you can call him on Skype. Let's take a call on Skype right now for Norm. You're on the air with Norm Macdonald. Go ahead with your question, sir.
Is this me now?
Yeah, that's you. Go ahead and ask Norm your question.
And can I call you Norm?
Yeah. Right?
Sounds Canadian.
Yeah.
All right, well, tell you what, I'm just wondering, Norm, and I'm not trying to, you know, whatever, but what are you most proud of in your career, man?
I'm only really proud of one thing. What's your name?
My name's Connor.
Well, Corner.
Connor, but close.
I am only really proud of stand-up. Everything else I've done has just been an accident that came from stand-up. You know, I've never auditioned for anything that I got. You know, I suck at acting, and but my stand-up, I'm very, 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 very proud of stand-up, and I'm ashamed of almost everything else.
No, but
No, I like this interview right
yeah.
now.
Well, that's
That-
cool, man.
Stand-up and this interview.
I mean, when I was just a kid in Canada, that was when I discovered stand-up comedy.
Yes.
Going to Yuck Yucks.
Yes.
And you would, you know, were not yet on television in America at that point,
No.
but touring. And we actually have a clip of you
No.
from the early days
Oh,
at Yuck
God.
Yucks. Let's have a quick look at that.
That sounds
A
awful.
clip, an early clip, probably 25, 30 years old.
I always wanted to be a trucker, you know, and of course I can't be a trucker because I don't have my driver's license. You know? Makes the resume look pretty skimpy, you know, as soon as I say that. They don't even get to the hobbies after they see that you don't have your license, you know. Too bad too, because my hobby's collecting little trucks. But I always wanted to be a trucker, you know, driving a big truck. They're very intimidating though when you're in a car. You ever be behind a big truck full of trembling logs right in front of you? Holy cow. Sometimes you see those trucks where the cargo of the truck will be just wrecked cars. Just a bunch of wrecked cars. You go, holy cow, man, I hit this guy, I won't even notice. It's become part of the haul. 6 months later, oh, there's a guy in this one. Yeah, could you let me out already? I got a kink.
How does it feel to look at that? Do you remember that? Remember that bit?
I don't remember the bit, but it makes me feel bad looking at it because I don't like it. Because, you know, it takes so long to be good at not at anything, but specifically at stand-up. And when you look at old stand-up, it's not a lot of fun because I'm sure it's like that with everything. I'm sure like Picasso was like, what the fuck is this shit? Fucking nose looks like a nose.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was I thinking? But
How old were you there in that clip?
and my voice was way up high.
Yeah.
You know, I used to freeze with fear, and my voice, my voice would be normal, and then as soon as I got on stage, my voice, something happened to it. And do you notice my voice is high and
Yeah, I've
odd?
noticed actually in some of your older
Yeah,
clips
yeah.
that you are speaking a higher.
Yeah. Decibel.
Yes. Yeah. But well, you know, that's those were the.
You
those
know
were,
what? I'll tell you something interesting, and John Schneider's part of this story too, but in such a small way, I should never have brought it up. But when you decided you were going to be a stand-up, and you called it a return to stand-up, but let's be honest,
Yeah,
you were never a stand-up
no, just
before.
sort of. Not really.
I
No.
would
Did
say-
amateur night at Yuck Yucks.
I would
in
say
Ottawa.
5 years ago you started.
yes.
Was that right?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
And I remember you talking about it with me on the on your show, your previous show. You went down. I was doing, I believe, the Irvine Improv, and you said, "Could I do a spot?"
Yeah.
Johnny came down with you. You went on stage, and I gotta say, I'd never seen a guy go on stage that in command of the audience. You went on, you bounded on stage with complete control of the audience. And I didn't know that you really worked with audiences before that.
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, I know you would go on the street, and that's a
Yeah. Just
that's
more
an audience
more
too.
the audience on the TV show and you know the
But that's
studio
an
audience. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah.
I mean, I always feel like a studio audience is in on it.
Well, it's
They're in on it. Like these, you got a studio audience here,
Yeah.
a small one. They're in on it.
Yeah.
They're with us. They're not going to heckle us. But you know, you go on you go and do stand up, and these motherfuckers will tear you apart. You don't get a laugh for 5 minutes. They hate your guts.
Yeah.
When I started writing, you know, I got a job on Roseanne. You know, a great show. And I'd look at the script, I go, well, every fucking joke's gonna bomb. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
I go, nothing's gonna work because I was comparing it to stand-up.
Sure.
Whereas if I went up with these jokes in stand-up, I'd have no chance.
Right. Right.
And so that's what I love about stand-up so much. The quality of the material has to be so high. Or if it's not the quality of the material, it's the showmanship, you know, which I think you excel at.
Well,
And I remember when you
very
first,
nice of you to say
when
it.
you first started, you were going, oh, let's do crazy shit. Like I get a call from Tempe, And I go, is Tom's there this week? Go, that crazy motherfucker's out on Main Street wearing an aluminum suit and shit and getting people to march.
That, for some reason, I thought when I started touring that maybe if I asked my audience to show up and wrap tinfoil around their head before the show, that might help with ticket sales.
Yeah.
It sort
and
of
I
did,
think
but-
I saw on YouTube, because I always follow you, you know?
Yeah.
You know I always follow you.
Yes.
And I think I saw you and a bunch of motherfuckers jumping into a swimming pool in a Holiday Inn.
Right, yeah, in St. Louis. Yeah, no, I've been loving it on the road. Okay, we're going to talk more about life on the road, stand-up comedy with Norm Macdonald. Taking your calls. We'll be right back after the break. Stick around.